Hey guys, my voice cracked. Hey guys, it's Dave. Yeah. Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here, doing a tag video. Third tag video in the row. Soon I think it'll be too many tag videos. Too many in a row. But anyway, I was tagged by Wednesday Serial, who was tagged by the originator of this one, Minutia Minute. Although I don't think Mr. Minutia has answered his own tag yet. But I'm calling it the Guilty Tag. You could call it the Guilty Pleasures Tag. I'm not sure if it was even given a name by Mr. Minute. But it's just two questions. One is, what comic books should you be reading that you haven't read or are not reading? And a number of ones pop into my mind right away. It's funny because you almost feel guilty that everyone says this is a good comic book and you should read it. One, I have never read a single issue of Preacher. And I know a lot of people say that's like their favorite comic or the best comic they've ever read. And it probably is brilliant and I probably would love it. And for some reason, I've just always avoided it. I never liked the look of the covers. I didn't like the title. I don't want to be preached at. I avoid generally comics about religion. And I don't know if Preacher really is about religion. But on the other hand, when I have read comics about religion, I suppose I've liked them, like Punk Rock Jesus. So that's the big one that I haven't read. Of current books, maybe Rachel Rising, from what everyone says. I feel kind of guilty for not reading that. I also feel guilty for not reading, I feel so guilty I can't remember the name of it. Starts with an R. And it's from Image Comics. So anyway, extra layers of guilt for not even remembering it. I actually own the first 3 issues of this comic, whose name I can't remember. Revival. I own the first 3 issues of Revival, and I never read it, even though everyone was saying it was so great. And it just got put off and put off. And now there's a lot of issues to be read if I jump on. But I should at least read those 3 issues. I mean, they're sitting in a box somewhere in my room. So the follow-up question to that is, what guilty pleasures have you been reading when you should be reading these great comics that you've been passing by? All of my comics are guilty pleasures in a way because my parents raised me to feel guilty for reading comics, and certainly lots of other people have reinforced that over the years. Amongst the comics that are guilty pleasures for me right now, this is kind of preamble to the really big guilty pleasure, is Phantom Stranger. And talk about there's a lot about God and heaven and redemption in here, but done very clumsily. And a part of me says so it's kind of funny that I avoid Preacher because maybe it's too much about religion. I haven't read this issue yet. I've got a stack of last week's comics to read. But I get this sort of guilty thrill out of reading Phantom Stranger. The better part of my brain tells me this is not a comic I should be spending my time on. But somehow I like it anyway. I suppose a comic book like Five Ghosts is designed to be a guilty pleasure. But my real guilty pleasure is I've started going back to this old Warren Comics, kind of later in the run in the history of Warren publications, called 1984. And I think later it was continued in 1994. I've so far bought 2 issues. And let's see if I can find some nice examples. It is, as far as I can tell, entirely a comic book devoted to science fiction combined with sex. And it's often done in very dumb ways. This is a beautifully drawn Wally Wood comic that is, if you just read the words instead of looking at the art, it's just really dumb. but it's wonderful. And this is full of great artists. There's Alex Nino, Alfredo Alacar, Rudy Nibres. Like, believe it or not, like, look at this beautiful art. This whole story is about people who go around the galaxy having sex with aliens for academic purposes. But it's so weird because that's all in the captions. But it's the artwork is just this guy dressed like a barbarian fighting these cavemanish aliens. So this is my guilty pleasure. I plan to collect them all. I think I read one or two, as a teenager. I'm not sure what I thought about them then. I think that they were trying to catch up with heavy metal and its popularity, and they must have seen that heavy metal had sex and nudity in it, and it had science fiction. So they just did that without looking more closely at what actually made heavy metal good. So it's kind of this great bad comics. So that's my guilty pleasure, and I hope to continue with that guilt. As a raised as a Catholic boy, I have a special expertise in guilty pleasures. So anyway, I'm curious what, if anything, that he should have read, Captain Strangelife hasn't read. So I'd like to tag Captain Strangelife. And I'll also tag... I'm just going to leave it at Captain Strangelife. So I tag Captain Strangelife and look forward to everyone else's videos in this tag as it spreads around. Bye-bye.